Thank you for joining us. I'm Spencer Tillis.
And I'm Giselle Espinales.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. We have a jammed-packed show for you today. And coming up in just a little bit, Kent Island looked to stake their claim as one of the conference's best teams and avoided upset when they took on the Jaguars.
And coming up a little later, it was a stick showdown as the Pocomoke field hockey team hosted the Stephen Decatur Seahawks.
And it was rivalry week in college as the Seagulls squared off against the Wolverines, but which team would claim bragging rights for this year? But we get started today talking about the Delmar football team, which was looking for a much-needed bounce-back win on Friday when they hosted John Carroll. Early on in this one, Delmar on a drive, Shane Leatherberry does what Shane Leatherberry does. A great QB sneak there, takes it in for the touchdown. John Carroll's actually still up 7-6 at that point, though. The Patriots, well, they had it going on offense. Whoa. A 60-yard touchdown pass deep down the field. Not a Wildcat inside at first, and then he breaks a couple tackles as he takes it in for the score. Delmar, they fall to 0-2 and get handled at home, 42-19, and I don't know which one is more surprising, losing like that at home or just starting 0-2 for that team. I mean, the fact is, I did not see that coming. I thought this team was going to be a lot better seated right now than where they are. That is tough coming back from 0-2. I mean, for a team right now, obviously they're getting really good quarterback play, but beyond that, they're not getting much help, and they need to find a way to turn this around. I mean, the panic button is getting pressed if you're asking me right now about the Wildcats. They are running out of time.
Panic button, easy button. I don't know, man. I'm all for underdogs, and yes, 0-3 would not be ideal. Giving up, they gave 42 points at home. I mean, the Wildcats have to get it together. They have Shane Leatherberry, but who does Leatherberry have? Nobody. Nobody's really actually stepping up to the plate. And defensively, 42 points at home. Spencer, I'm going to let that speak for itself.
That really does. I mean, that does not happen to Delmar.
Wow, and we take it over at a cool night in Delaware as Lake Forest took on Sussex Central. Both teams undefeated, which you know what that means? Only one can win. And we started off in the third quarter. Spartans up 14-12. A bat snap gives the Spartans some great field position and defense happy about that one. And it's still anybody's game. Set up Spartans quarterback Noah Feig Johnson, who sneaks in for the lead 20-12, and the stadium was rocking as time continued to run out, but don't count out the Golden Knights, who get things lined up. James Jenkins ties things up after he gets into the end zone for Sussex Central, but Logan Simpson in overtime for the game winner from 33 yards out. It's good for the win, and Spartans take this one 23-20, the final. First of all, Spencer, what a game. I mean, it had it all, and what a finish. I was on the Spartans sidelines, and I heard the coaches, we finished till the very end. Let's go Spartans. And that's the motto throughout the entire game for the Spartans, and it worked as they get the win and now go 2-0 on the season. But, you know, Sussex Central did have a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that I took away from this. I mean, the Golden Knights, tough loss. And for a lot of teams, I think younger ones, this is something that could hang over and really affect you down the stretch. Maybe it costs you that next one. Maybe you don't really put in the practice that you need this week. But I feel like the Sussex Central, they have the leadership they need. It starts at the top, great coaching, a lot of great leadership on that team, a lot of good seniors. And I feel like if there was a team that can bounce back from a loss like this, it is going to be Central. So I think they're going to be all right down the stretch. Well, taking it to Bennett, they were looking for their first win of the year when they hosted Nandua. Offense heating up for the Clippers in this one. TJ Hayward gets the handoff, gets the edge, and you're going to see a stiff arm, and he's just going to run by a couple people, do whatever it takes it in for a score. The passing, well, that was working pretty well for the Clippers as well. Jacob Lamore throws to the flats. Barry Gaines does the rest. Blocking downfield, one stiff arm right there. That's good for 6. Bennett built up a pretty good lead, had to hold off a late charge by the Warriors, but they take this one 28-20, so another pretty good game right there as well.
Close one.
And the fact is, I might have had this one wrong again. I mean, I feel like it's happening, a continual trend right now in some of these games. Nandua came into this game having scored 111 points in their first 2 games. Clippers, on the other hand, got handled in Easton. I put that together and I said the Clippers didn't have much of a chance this one, but they proved me wrong. That defense stepped up in a big way in this game. And they showed a little bounce on offense, and they did just enough to pull out that win.
Oh, man, the Clippers with a win. I know Dustin Mills and Coach Hoot is happy about that. I mean, this team is pushing week after week, Spencer, and after a tough loss against Easton, where they were just all over the place, they were able to stick it together and get the W, and honestly, that's all that matters. We take it over to Delaware again. Polytech Panthers taking on the Woodbridge Blue Raiders. And the Blue Raiders in a big 14-0 deficit. But how do they get out of this? Well, it started off with that guy, quarterback Logan Westcott, who dodges 2 defenders for a 13-yard rush on a scramble. Score 14-0. And talk about no pressure for this team. Woodbridge about to make it happen again. Look at this. Westcott takes his time and finds Bragg Davis, who was wide open for the 24-yard touchdown. Woodbridge gets the come-from-behind win against the Panthers, 35-21. And Spencer, I was not surprised at all that Woodbridge ended up winning this game, although the Panthers did have the hot hand at the beginning of the game. You know, so many flags, though. I mean, those things were everywhere on the field, and I'm sure the coaches will work on that for their game against Seaford. Illegal blocks, holding. There was a couple of touchdowns that Gabe Brown from the Panthers had scored that were actually called back. Just some costly mistakes. But let's look at the Blue Raiders being able to come back from a 14-0 deficit and win it all. I mean, hats off to them. That's keeping calm under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. That hidden yardage, that is definitely going to cost teams down the stretch. But what I took away from this is Woodbridge's quarterback, Logan Westcott, he might be one of the best players in the entire conference.
I think so.
Get to know that name because we're going to be saying it a lot throughout the year, I'm sure. This guy is ridiculous. He does everything. He can run, he can throw. He put that offense on his back, took him down the field for so many scores, kept them in this game, and he really, he's a guy that I think has an opportunity to maybe be one of the better players, if not one of the best players in that entire conference. We want to know what you think. Hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at 47ABC Sports, or shoot us an email at sports@wmdt.com.
And that was a lot of football, and keep it here because there's more football to come, and this time it's the Battle of the Capes. Cape Henlopen taking on Cape May. Cape May taking a ferry over to Viking Stadium for this one.
I'm Jalen Money, quarterback and free safety for the Eastern High School Warriors, and you're watching the Delmarva Sports Insider.